Over the summer, I worked at my parents' medical office, and my job was to call patients back and take their vitals, which included their height, weight, temperature, and blood pressure. I was definitely the youngest employee there by a pretty significant amount, especially working with the nurses and the doctors. Most of the younger employees were working as receptionists in the front, so I definitely stuck out a lot. Um, so I would go to call a patient back. First, I would bring them over to the scale to take their weight, then over to the wall to measure their height. And most people usually know how much they weigh or how tall they were, so um, when I would read it out loud to them, they wouldn't really question me. Same thing with temperature. Most people know normal temperature, so I really wasn't questioned very much. But it was when I would go to take people's blood pressure that I would experience inequality, um, because it's the first thing really where they can't actually see the reading, and they don't really have any other way to check to see if I'm doing it correctly. They sort of just have to trust that I was capable. So there was one woman that I specifically remember who came into the office, and she seemed perfectly normal. She was happy and smiling while she checked in with the receptionist and asked her how her day was going. They were having a pleasant conversation, and then I opened the door to call her back, and right away when she sees me and I call her name, she lets out this big sigh and rolls her eyes and crosses her arms and gets up and follows me back, and she doesn't say a single word to me um, as I take her height and her weight. But she would look over my shoulder to make sure that I was writing down the correct number. And then I would take her back. I took her back to the back room, and I took her temperature. And again, she checks to make sure I'm writing down the correct number. And then I go to take her blood pressure, and she stops me and she says, "Oh, I don't know why you're taking it on that arm. They always take my blood pressure on the other arm." And so I smile and I say, "Okay, that's fine. I can take it on the other arm." And I go to do it, and she stops me again, and she says, "Have you done this before?" And I say, "Yes, I have." And I smile at her again. She says, "Well, you better not mess it up." So I finish taking her blood pressure, and I go outside the room back to the nurse's station, and I sit down next to the nurse, and I tell her what happened. And then the lady comes out of the room and over to the nurse I'm sitting with and asks her to retake her blood pressure. So the nurse goes in and she retakes it and comes back out and tells me that it was exactly what I had said it was. Social inequality is the existence of unequal opportunities and rewards for different social positions or statuses within a group. So in this case, it was social inequality in the workplace due to my age, which is an ascribed status, something that I have no control over. This is an example of social inequality because due to my age, my skills and abilities were questioned. It was my parents' business, so I didn't have any problem getting a job there. They wanted me to work there. However, if I had gone to another medical office and applied for the same job, I think it probably would have been laughed at. I think because of my age, um, I don't think I would have even been considered, even though I have plenty of experience and I'm completely capable. That profession is just not. It's more older people and less people my age. Um, Younger people in the workplace have a harder time being taken seriously, um, and not just younger people, older people as well. This discrimination, ageism, is unfair treatment based on a person's age, which happens younger and older people, not just applying for jobs, but even once you have a job, people kind of still think that you're less capable, or even that you shouldn't be working there, doing what you're doing. Um, it happens not just in the workplace, but also out at restaurants or stores. People, older people and younger people, are treated differently, um, taken less seriously, receive less quality service. Workers get impatient faster. There's a lot of inequality based on simply things you can't control, how young or how old you are. So in my specific situation, I really wanted to say something to the woman, but I felt like I couldn't because first of all, it was my parents' business. I didn't want to make the business look bad. I didn't want to upset her more. And then also her comments and her constant questioning about what I was doing made me feel like I wasn't doing it correctly or like I shouldn't be working there. Um, and it just made me feel a lot less confident and insecure about my place in that in the office and doing what I was doing. I really wish I had stood up for myself. Now that I've learned about social inequality, at the time I didn't think of it as that. I just thought of it as